Hello there, delightful listeners. How lovely it is to see you again. I hope that all of you are doing well. I am feeling quite wonderful today. The weather has finally turned warm, and it is making the blood sing in my veins. Thank you all for your thoughts and comments on last week's episode. This week, we encounter no lesser creature than the fearsome Gargoyle. Today, we read part 1 of the poem The Gargoyle's Love. So grab your duvets, your sweet treats, and your favorite animal friend. Are you comfortable and safe? Then I'll begin. The Gargoyle's Love. Part 1. He was a gargoyle. Once, he was among the horde who fell. Through Lucifer's pride, down from heaven into deepest hell. With all the others strong enough, he climbed in time to earth. The devil ordered his minions to destroy the race birthed. Out of God's love, the gargoyle was loyal, but a time came when, through the study of mankind, his brothers ceased to blame. Their younger siblings on the earth, a few mated with men, and their daughters. The rest determined that they would help them. They'd ask no payment, nor a forgiveness that could not be. Yet they'd find purpose and hope in shielding humanity. The gargoyle was among them. His poor visage was a sight. In hell, he'd been a formless vapor, the essence of night. But when he'd climbed up to the earth, a strange casing had formed. It was strong, but nonetheless a cage he would once have scorned. A craggy and a rocky shield, an assemblage of stone. The first time he saw it reflected, he let out a groan. It hurt so much to have eschewed his former great beauty, to become such a hulking thing, repellent and ugly. In his new form, he lived longer than mankind could recall. Upon high buildings, he and his comrades sat, not to fall, but to keep watch on the people of earth from up on high, swooping out of the night to hunt those who made good folk cry. It was on such a lonely vigil that young Maird saw a new life, a soul he had never encountered before. The mother herself was a child of 14. The baby she'd carried from the hospital. She held it tenderly. Around the infant was a glow. At once, Maird's eyes saw the light of heaven. He had been forbidden to enter more. It was night, so he followed them to see them safely home. The mother lived in a small room. She was clearly alone. In all the world, the baby didn't have a crib. Instead, she laid the child in a suitcase, set down beside the bed. While the babe slept, the mother fell down on her knees and prayed that if God wished to take her life, or somehow be repaid, she wouldn't withhold anything, not spirit, blood, or bone. If God would give her child a good life, not leave her alone, and give her freedom, health, hope, warmth, and enough food to eat. Not, like her mother, leave her to struggle out on the street. Maird found then that from in his heart, unprompted came an oath. For as long as his life lasted, he would protect them both. And so, from then on, he watched them. He saw the baby grow into a child sweet and fair. The light in her still glowed. Sadly, life around the two did not remain quite as bright. The mother found a husband, but his presence was a blight. He did not work but slept the days, then drank until morning. Yet, he expected his women to treat him like a king. The girl Linnae would whimper every time he raised his hand. Oh, how Maird wished he could kill the misbegotten man. Sadly, he'd made an oath to act with honor and duty. He could not justify killing a mortal so lightly. Instead, Merritt left gifts of food and money for the child, and even managed to hide coins, so that the mother Mild would find them and think they dropped from her pocket or her purse. She'd tuck the coins away and buy food, though her husband cursed. To think she had a penny piece she did not give to him, so he could have spent longer in the dockside pub, drinking. Merritt wished he could slay the beast and take the pair away, but how could he explain what he was? They would never stay willingly with a monster. Although the husband was cruel, he had been made in mortal form. It was the standard rule that human heart to human heart would incline for loving, not a once angel who had rebelled against heaven's king. Still, somehow, Merritt had to make their life over anew. That would take more coins than he had. Merritt planned what to do. In this case, Merritt was helped by man's ingenuity. Because computer jobs existed, he found it easy to find a role where he could labor without being seen. He saved every penny he made. One day, just like two queens, Lene and her mother would live. That one thing he would do, even if an archangel came after to run him through. One good thing he would create in the world. He'd give his all to protect Lenai and Raleen. If good came from his fall, perhaps at last the aching of his deep regret would ease. If not, and nothing improved for Merritt, he would be pleased in knowing that the two women he loved were safe once more. They both deserved to be loved by one who would them adore. For 4 long years, Merritt worked in a cold attic alone. Nothing did he spend to sustain his life. Just like a stone, he ate nothing. He felt the hunger but didn't give in. Starvation might cause him to hurt, but it would not kill him. By the time he was ready, Lenai was 5 whole years old. Merritt was as rich now as a dragon that hoards its gold. Now, he had to find a way to show Lenai and Raleen that they had cash to escape her husband so mean. Then God himself took them in hand. The awful husband died. Merritt felt guilty for the fierce joy he felt inside, but could not stop nor deny it. Left alone, young Raleen should have been happy. After all, the man had been obscene. Surely it was better to be free, although, yes, alone, than to exist with a partner as harsh and cold as stone. But every time he visited, Raleen wept helplessly, as if she'd forgotten the meaning of the word happy. It took Merritt time to understand how poor Raleen felt. Her husband had been a monster, but she'd had no one else to notice her, to even care if she had lived or died. He'd destroyed all her confidence, her sense of self and pride. Now without him, she felt sere, fragile, cold, almost empty. There was a life waiting beyond her, but she could not see enough to grasp it. Lenai, who had borne the husband's rage, did not feel grief. She was like a bird let out of a cage. She danced and laughed. She leapt and twirled. She giggled, whirled, and grinned. It did Merritt's stony heart good to see her enjoying the world like somebody newborn, but he feared for Raleen. She was more miserable than anyone he'd ever seen. He feared that she would harm herself, so he worked out a plan to give her the gift he had built so she would understand. One night, he sat next to her basement window as she cried. Raleen looked up. She sniffed and said, "You can just come inside. Lenai is staying with a friend. Nobody else will care if I entertain a stranger. I have known you were there for a long time. I never said Ray would have beaten me, thinking I had a lover, and that's why you followed me. Now, I no longer care whether you mean me, good or ill. If you slay me, just ensure Lanai will not find the kill. Merd hesitated. Yes, he had been beckoned inside, but by a woman saying she was aware. He had spied on her family. If he went in, would she attack him? Merd was not concerned that Ryleen's rage could injure him, but rather that she'd hurt herself on his hard, stony frame. If she cut herself or broke bones, then his would be the blame. But in the end, he entered. Ryleen widened her eyes. She looked at Merd's hulking form with shuddering surprise. She breathed shallowly, swallowed twice, and then murmured, "I see. I must admit, I never thought a gargoyle would stalk me." Merd bowed low. "Lady Ryleen," he said, "I mean no harm. I've been a silent friend to you. I do not mean to charm, or to ask aught. In fact, I have come here to do you good." Ryleen chuckled. "If so, you would be the first man who would." Merd realized then that young Ryleen had been drinking. He wondered if he should go on, if she was listening. At last, he said, "I've been charged with a legacy for you. There is somebody in the world who has always loved you. Hard factors meant they could not acknowledge you openly, but they have always cared for you and gave this task to me. You can't mean my mother. She died when I was just 11. As for my dad, he walked out on us the night I turned 7. Even if he had changed his mind and sent you to track me, I'd be shocked if he left his second best red dice for me. There are no dice. It is not him. This person, he loves you. Enough to shake the entire world. Enough to die for you." The man, he said, had now arranged a large payment through him, wishing at last to do something other than only sin. He has arranged a gift of love, something to succor you and bring you joy. It will allow you to start life anew. Ryleen narrowed her eyes, then breathed out once. "Show me," she said. He took the documents out from a bag of leather red. He had looped over his shoulder to carry as he flew. "Here, as a cashier's. Check in the details of a home for you. It belongs to you in your name. There is a bank account to cover expenses for you both. There's a good amount to keep you for at least 20 years. If you need more, then you only need to contact me. I will arrange for more when you give me cause." Ryleen looked down at the documents there. Her mouth opened, then closed. She whispered, "God has heard my prayer. I have been too ill to work after what Ray did to me. I asked my Father in heaven to shield Lanai for me. I didn't care if I should die, so long as she was safe. I'm not sure why I asked. Life had blunted most of my faith. But all of this, if it's real, means she can grow happy. Was it my Father in heaven who sent you here to me? Perhaps not in the way you think, but yes, I believe so." Merd told her, "I am part of the throng that fell below, soon after the earth was formed. But you don't have to be afraid. I'm not a wicked demon. Long ago, a choice I made to help, where I could, my littler siblings of the soul. I believe the Father led me to you to make you whole. You and Lanai deserve to live in peace and happiness. What I have here is intended to remove your distress." Ryleen looked at him a long time. "Whatever you may be," she said, "I'll count you a friend if you help Lanai and me." Subscribe to become a delicious darling. Well, what do you think? Was Riley right to trust the strange gargoyle who swooped out of the night with a fortune for her and her child? Is the money and the property real? And what will Maird ask for in return? What would you do if you were suddenly offered enough money to turn your life around, but from a source that turned your understanding of the world upside down? Today's word for the comments is gargoyle. Type it in, and then tell me if you have ever seen a gargoyle in person, moving or otherwise, and where you saw it. As always, I would be deeply touched if you click like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Seeing more and more people becoming delicious darlings and joining our odd little family is such a joy. Apanth and I are having a lazy night this evening. I have promised to read him the original version of The Little Mermaid. He claims it will not make him cry, but I think otherwise. To all of my wonderful family, remember to be kind to yourself this evening. Have something to eat and drink. Put your feet up for a bit, and then go to bed and sleep well, my delicious darlings.